Story 1. The Island of Nitrogen Monoxide Jobs. Working is the best way to enjoy life. Have you ever dreamed of a life where you don't have to do anything at all? Just eat, sleep, have fun, and relax? We often see work as a burden to be paid in exchange for a few short days off. But the philosopher Immanuel Kant completely overturned that thinking when he asserted, work is the best way to enjoy life. Sounds paradoxical, right? Why is sweat and pressure a way to enjoy life? Let's listen to the story of Paradise Island to understand. Excessive idleness is sometimes a prison, and work is the key to unlocking the door to happiness. In a certain kingdom, there lived a man named John. John always complained about his job. He hated his desk full of paperwork, hated the meetings, and hated the alarm clock every morning. He wished, if only I didn't have to do anything and still had everything in the world. One day, his wish came true. John woke up on a strange island. There, servants were ready to bring him the best food, the most beautiful beaches, and the most comfortable beds. The only rule of the island was, you are not allowed to do anything. The first week, John felt like he was in paradise. He slept until noon, ate his fill, and lounged under the coconut trees. The second week, he began. He felt bored. He asked to sweep fallen leaves on the beach, but the servant stopped him. Sir, that's labor. You're not allowed to do that here. By the third week, John felt utterly exhausted, his mind blank, and a terrible boredom overwhelmed him. He looked in the mirror and saw a lifeless man. John ran to the island manager and cried, "I can't stand it anymore. Give me a pickaxe, a stack of papers, or anything to do. I'd rather go to hell to work than sit around doing nothing like this in heaven." The manager smiled and replied, "Where do you think you are? For those who don't know the value of labor, being idle for life is the most terrible punishment in hell." John had an epiphany. He realized that when he worked, he was connecting with the world. He felt his own worth and enjoyed the sense of accomplishment. Work didn't steal his time, it was what gave life its flavor. The story of John and Kant's philosophy leaves us with invaluable lessons. Labor is the heartbeat of life. When we work, our brains and bodies are activated. The focus and flow in our work bring a profound kind of happiness that pure enjoyment can never achieve. Happiness lies in the process, not just the destination. Enjoying life isn't about consuming products, but about participating in the creative process. The joy after a tiring but productive workday is the sweetest spice. Change your attitude. Change your life. Instead of saying, "I have to go to work," try saying, "I get to go to work." When you view work as an art form to enjoy, pressure will turn into motivation. Final message, don't wait until the weekend to be happy. Find joy in the things you do every day. Because, as Kant said, honest work is the best way to truly feel that you are living a meaningful life.
Story 2. The torch in every stone. Labor enriches life, but thought illuminates it. Welcome back to at Hothen VN to single quotes as little corner. Have you ever felt that your daily work is dull and meaningless? We sweat to earn our food and clothing, but sometimes we feel our souls are dark and empty. The critic Belinsky once left behind a truth: labor enriches life, but thought illuminates it. Labor gives us a material shell of abundance, but it is thought that is the torch that ignites the soul of life. Today, let's listen to the story of two lighthouse builders to understand the power of this collaboration. On a remote island where fierce waves constantly threaten ships, two workers are building a giant lighthouse together. They're Mr. Tam and Mr. Try. Every day, their work involves chiseling large rocks and stacking them. Mr. Tam is a skilled worker. He works diligently, never missing a single hour. Thanks to his hard work, he earns enough money to send home to his family, but Mr. Tam is always grumpy. He considers the rocks a burden, an enemy that causes him back pain and knee aches. For him, labor is just a tool to enrich his pockets while his life remains as gloomy as the sky before a storm. In contrast, Mr. Try, a young worker, does the same strenuous work, but strangely enough, he always works with a smile. During breaks, he would often sit and study sea maps and wind directions. One day, Mr. Tam irritably asked, "Aren't you tired? Why do you keep drawing and calculating, adding more work to your tasks?" Try calmly replied, "Uncle, I'm not just stacking stones. I'm imagining how far the beam of light from the top of this tower will reach on stormy nights, guiding fathers back home. I'm calculating how to make this tower withstand the strongest winds so that its flame will never go out." Years later, the lighthouse was completed. Mr. Tam received his payment and left, still carrying the weariness of hard labor. As for Try, he remained at the foot of the tower, watching the brilliant light sweep across the vast ocean. He felt his life shone as brightly as the lighthouse itself. Labor had enriched him, but purpose illuminated his soul. This story gives us a new perspective. Labor is the foundation. Without the chisels of Tam and Try, the tower wouldn't exist. Genuine labor provides us with a stable life and creates material value for society. But ideology is meaning. If labor is without thoughts, we are merely walking machines. Thought helps us understand why we must do what we do. It transforms heavy stones into steps leading to happiness. Don't just work with your hands. Let your thoughts guide your action. When you prepare a meal, think about the diner's joy. When you write code, think about the convenience for the user. That's when you're illuminating your life. Final message: labor gives you strong hands, but thoughts give you bright eyes and a warm heart. Let every task today be a brilliant torch illuminating your own personal journey.
The secret of the soulful vase.
Have you ever wondered why, starting from the same point, some people reach the pinnacle of success?
The difference isn't due to luck, nor is it entirely due to innate talent. Success doesn't accept those who only go through the motions. Vincent Lombardi said, "The only way to succeed in anything is to be dedicated and give your all." Success nods to those who poured their heart. In a traditional pottery village, there was a young man named Hugh. He was very skillful and could shape pottery vases quickly and beautifully. However, despite making many products, Hugh had never been recognized as a truly skilled craftsman by his teacher, a seasoned old artisan. One time, the workshop received a special order to create a unique vase as a gift for a distinguished guest. Hugh eagerly set to work. He used his most skillful techniques, painting the most intricate patterns. After a day, he confidently brought the vase to his teacher. The teacher looked at the vase, then set it aside and said, "Beautiful, but it's not quite there yet." Try again. Hugh was surprised, then a little offended. He made the second one more meticulously, taking more time. The teacher still shook his head. By the third vase, Hugh began to feel discouraged. He was about to give up, but his teacher's words made him think. The teacher said, "You work with your hands, but you haven't worked with your breath and the beat of your heart." This time, Hugh closed the workshop door. He no longer cared about time or fatigue. He kneaded the clay until it was as smooth as silk. His hands trembled with concentration. He forgot to eat and sleep. Every line carved seemed to be squeezed from his very soul. When the vase went into the kiln, Hugh sat watching the fire all night, feeling that he and the vase had become one. The next morning, the vase came out. It didn't have elaborate patterns, but it exuded an unusually peaceful and radiant beauty. The teacher saw the vase and smiled. "This is success. Because you didn't just use your skills, you dedicated your whole being to it." Hugh's story reminds us that success is never for the superficial. Doing good enough is not enough to lead to greatness. You must be willing to pour all your energy and put your whole mind into the goal, no matter how big or small it is. When you are dedicated, you will discover details that others overlook. Dedication helps you overcome your own barriers to reach new limits. No matter who you are, ask yourself, have I truly put my heart and soul into this? Don't expect extraordinary results from ordinary effort. Start everything with 100% heart, and success will find its way to you. Thank you for listening to The Secret of the Soulful Vase.
Story 4, The Flavor of Joy. Welcome back to our series of inspiring stories. Have you ever fallen into the trap of, I will only be happy when I succeed? We get caught up in the whirlwind of work, neglecting family, and promising ourselves that when we have a house and a car, then I'll be happy. Albert Schweitzer left behind a key. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you do, you will be successful today. Let's listen to the story of two bakers to see what the real formula for a fulfilling life is. In a bustling town, two bakeries faced each other. Min was an extremely ambitious man. His sole goal was to make his bakery the biggest, with the highest revenue and most branches. Min considered baking a tool to achieve wealth. His cakes were perfect and beautiful, but he never truly smiled when seeing them. Across the street was Mr. T's small bakery. He didn't dream of chains. He only had a pure love for flour, butter, and sugar. He was fascinated watching the cakes rise. Mr. T loved his work so much that each cake seemed to contain a sky of positive energy. His greatest joy was seeing a child smile as they took a bite of a warm cake. People felt a unique flavor, the flavor of happiness. As time passed, Min's bakery customers dwindled. Meanwhile, Mr. T's bakery was always packed with people wanting to catch the cheerful atmosphere. Min finally gave up. He went to see Mr. T and asked, "Why can't I be as successful as you, even with the most modern equipment?" Mr. T smiled, handed Min a cake, and said, "Because you're working to achieve success, while I work because I'm happy. You bring stress to the cake, while I bring love." Customers don't just buy the cake, they buy the energy of the person who made it. Happiness is the root, success is the fruit. When you work with joy, you pour your heart into it, and success will naturally follow. True success isn't about crossing the finish line exhausted. It's about doing what you love and spreading that positive value to those around you. Don't postpone happiness, ignite your passion today. Because when you love what you do, the world will bow before your success.
Story 4, One Light Doesn't Come from Miracle. Hello, this is one of the most classic quotes about success, helping to dispel the misconception about born geniuses who sit around waiting for ideas. We often look at great figures like Newton, Mozart, or Edison and sigh, they are geniuses, how can I compare to them? We believe in magical moments of inspiration, like an apple falling on your head or a melody spontaneously playing in your sleep. But Thomas Edison, who held over 1,000 patents, poured cold water on that dream with his declaration, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." Behind every brilliant light are thousands of hours of labor in the shadows. Today, we invite you to listen to the story of Experiment 10,001. Story content: intelligence is only the seed, while perseverance is the water that nourishes the mighty tree of success. In the laboratory cluttered with shards of glass and metal wires, the young assistant looked at Thomas Edison with a look of utter disappointment. They had experimented with over 10,000 different materials for light bulb filaments, but all burned to ashes within minutes. The assistant exclaimed, "Sir, we've completely failed." 10,001 attempts and we've got nothing. Perhaps this idea is just an illusion. Edison paused, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and calmly smiled, replying, "Failure? No, we haven't failed. We've just achieved a brilliant result. We now know exactly 10,000 materials that can't be used. We're closer than ever to the answer." And so, Edison continued to bury himself in his work. He worked 18 hours a day, forgetting to eat and sleep. He didn't wait for inspiration to come knocking. Instead, he sought it out in the ashes of his failed experiments. Finally, after tens of thousands of hammer blows of perseverance, the carbon fiber thread burned brightly and enduringly, illuminating all of humanity. People called him the Wizard of Menlo Park, but Edison just smiled and said his magic was made from sweat, tears, and stubbornness. He wasn't 10,000 times smarter than others. He was simply the one who dared to try again when all the other smart people had given up. The story of Edison leaves us with a lesson: don't worship talent. Without 99% effort to execute it, an idea is just a drawing on paper. Genius isn't about having the best idea, but about bringing it to life. Success is a marathon, not a leap. Treat each setback as an elimination. You don't lose time, you're gaining experience. You don't need to be a born genius to achieve great things. When you've worked yourself to exhaustion, inspiration will find you. Keep sweating because the light awaits you on your next attempt. When sweat becomes light, dear friends, we have just concluded 5 stories about the journey of labor and success. Whether in the 18th century or today's technological age, the philosophies we have just explored remain the hinge for unlocking a meaningful life. Let's look back at what we have learned. We learned to enjoy life in every hour of work count. We learned to use thought to illuminate even the most rudimentary efforts. Belinsky. We understood that success only nods to dedication and hard work. Vince Lombardi. We realized that happiness and love of work are the roots of all glory. Albert Schweitzer. And finally, we believe that perseverance and sweat are more powerful than any innate talent. Edison. Message to you: don't treat work as if this is the sentence you must fulfill every day to survive. Think of it as a workshop where you hone your character and affirm your own worth. True success doesn't lie at the summit you reach, but in the warmth of your passion and in the light of your intellect that radiates along the entire climb to that peak. Thank you for listening and for accompanying at Hawthorne VN2. May you always keep the flame of passion burning and a warm heart. Goodbye and see you again in the next stories.